Coming up on Gentlemen's Clubs Revealed, we'll be reaching speeds of 85 miles an hour in Switzerland.
You can get hurt.
Warming ourselves in the Turkish baths of Istanbul. Revealing what the English upper classes get up to when they think no one's looking.
They can't help it, poor souls.
And show you how to train to become a world-class racing driver.
If you want to learn how to drive a car quickly, this is the place to be.
From the glamorous to the intriguing, it's all coming up on Gentlemen's Clubs Revealed. Worldwide, there are millions of clubs where men go to relax, do business, or simply to get away from the women in their lives. Some are steeped in history, others are geared towards sports. But we've scoured the globe to bring you the very best of these amazing gentlemen's clubs. From the bizarre to the outrageous, we reveal what men get up to when left to their own devices. This gentlemen's club has speed.
We have had some fatal accidents, but like any high-speed sport, that's bound to happen.
Glamour.
We are the Cresta girls!
And bravado.
I'm looking forward to it, but I am truthfully frightened.
The Cresta Run Tobogganing Club has it all. Situated in the hip Swiss ski resort of St. this gentlemen's club is for Ironmen only. To gain entry, wannabe members must overcome their fear if they are to master what is one of the greatest, most thrilling tobogganing runs in the world. A team of 24 Americans makes the trip every year. German-born Christian Heyer lives in California, and this is his first trip with the group. A Cresta Run virgin, he's understandably nervous about this unconventional trip down the mountain.
I was fairly comfortable with doing the Cresta before I came. And since I've arrived here, everybody talking about the Cresta, seeing videos about the Cresta, I have become very apprehensive.
We took him down at night to look at the run for the first time in pitch black and terrified him, so I think we've done our job.
I'm here with my wife and my 2 children, and my wife Kisa, she thinks that I'm absolutely mad. I took my daughter to the Cresta run and just for her to see, and she just asked, "Daddy, why?"
Built for the winter ski season in 1884, the Cresta Run runs for 1.2 kilometers between the Swiss villages of St. and neighboring Celerina.
When it comes to ski resorts, compared to America, you just can't compare it.
Originally a private members club made up almost solely of Englishmen and Americans, it's one of the few gentlemen's clubs which still exclude women.
At certain times, it's great for just have a pure male gentleman's club for camaraderie and for men to be like boys and just have a good time. And I think if we would have women, I think that would honestly change the atmosphere.
We don't get hurt.
Exactly.
We go to the beauty shop.
And have great dinners and lunches.
And buy jewelry.
While they have free roam of the club bar, women are only allowed down the Cresta Run itself on the last day of the season. And even then, they must be related to a male member in order to qualify for this concession.
I think the idea of only allowing women to go down the Cresta Run on one particular day, it's almost more powerful than excluding them altogether. It's the kind of the exception that proves the rule.
If you can afford $325 in cash, and you're a man, then you're allowed down the Cresta Run. Like most private members clubs, full membership only comes once you know someone well enough for them to put you up for election. And even then, there's no guarantee that you'll be allowed in. This money buys you a morning of instruction,
2 hands, 2 hands,
loan of the equipment, and 5 runs down the mountain.
We're just basically waiting for our introductory talk, so the so-called death talk.
The Cresta Run is so dangerous that the club has to make sure that everyone is aware that they could die trying to make it to the bottom.
Maya? Sorry, Haya?
In charge is club secretary Johnny Moss.
could we please keep quiet at the bar?
We do have breakages, and people do break collarbones and wrists and arms and so forth, they're bound to. We're having accidents at speeds of 40, 50 or 60 miles an hour. It's bound to happen.
There's an element of competition in all of these clubs. I mean, men are essentially very competitive, and also competition is part of the kind of tribal initiation rites of proving oneself.
It only needs to touch it like that, and it will drive the toboggan into the wall, okay?
Facing Christian is the shuttlecock bend. The most dangerous part of the course, it's claimed thousands of victims over the years.
The toboggan is going to get to the finish after shuttlecock, whether you're on it or not.
For Christian, the moment of reckoning has arrived. After 2 hours of lessons, he must decide whether or not he's going to toboggan down the ominous Cresta run.
From here, it's difficult to tell how steep it is. But what frightens me is that second turn called shuttlecock. I'm just hoping that I won't be going out and hitting the hay. I can just see all my friends heckling me afterwards, so that's my goal is just to stay on the track.
The course's top speed is 85 miles an hour, and with your face hovering a mere 3 inches above the ice, it's certainly a sport for those gentlemen who like to live life on the edge.
Your feet need to be a little wider apart. The bell will go, lift your feet up, let it run to the bridge.
Christian is going to do extremely well. There's no question about it.
Don't let me down, okay?
Hey, I won't be the last one.
After setting off on his first run, Christian decides to take it easy.
Scheiße.
He makes it down in one piece, with his wife Kisa on hand for support.
Hello.
How was it? Are you shaking? Exhilarated?
Exhilarated and out of breath.
But with his second run still ahead of him, Christian's American teammates think he's unlikely to make it all the way down.
Christian right now is just feeling a bit cocky. He had a good run.
Yeah.
I think he's looking for places to improve, which will maybe lead to catastrophe. We'll see.
Christian's second run is well underway, but up ahead is the infamous shuttlecock bend. Will his teammates' pessimism prove to be justified?
Betting was that you were going to go off.
Excellent. So who got the money?
I got the money.
Excellent.
At the end of the morning's racing, Christian gets to nurse his bruises over a margarita at the traditional Team LA drinks.
Our rookie Christian Hire has made 2 out of his 3 runs successfully, and I think we should all raise a little glass to Christian, his lovely wife Kisa. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Cresta run is open throughout the ski season, but if you haven't got the money or the nerve required to take part, then why not take up a position on the sidelines and watch as members of one of the most macho gentlemen's clubs in the world zoom past at death-defying speed. Up next on Gentlemen's Clubs Revealed, we take you below ground to unearth the drunken debauchery behind England's most famous Hellfire club.
It certainly does conjure up all sorts of weird and wonderful satanic images.
And give you the chance to hit a world-class racetrack where you can train to become a fully qualified racing driver.
If you want to learn how to drive a car quickly, this is the place to be.
So buckle up, the ride is only just beginning. 30 miles from London, in the picturesque village of West Wickham, we have unearthed one of Britain's most notorious gentlemen's clubs, the Hellfire Club. In this unique series of underground caves, the cream of the British aristocracy were scandalizing 18th century society with their acts of drunken debauchery, wild parties, even satanic worship. We've been granted an exclusive underground tour by the current Lord of the Manor, Sir Edward Dashwood, ancestor of the notorious Sir Francis Dashwood.
Well, here we are in the banqueting hall. We're some 200 to 300 feet underground. We're about 400 meters down from the entrance of the caves. And all this amazing room was dug out by hand in the 1740s. It was all done with picks and axes. And I mean, you can see here the sort of typical marks that a pick would have made on the soft chalk. And every last piece of chalk was actually carried up to the top. They didn't even have pit ponies in those days, so they were carried up by hand in a wheelbarrow.
There we go.
Most people refer to the caves as the Hellfire Caves, and the club that met here as the Hellfire Club. We're not sure when this name actually came into force, because originally the collection that they used to be were the Brothers of St. Francis of Wickham.
Sir Francis Dashwood was an English aristocrat from the 18th century. With an eye for the ladies, he was a man of influence and founder of England's most famous Hellfire Club.
The lines upon which he lived his life were very much summed up in the motto of the Hellfire Club, which is Fais ce que voudrais, which means do whatever you want.
As part of their education, it was traditional for young gentlemen of the time to embark on a grand tour of Europe. During the 1700s, Italy was a hotbed of occultism, and the young Sir Francis Dashwood developed a keen interest in the black arts, an interest which was to flourish upon his return to England.
It certainly does conjure up all sorts of weird and wonderful satanic images in one's mind.
While he's not a fan of graffiti, Sir Edward is keen to show us one of the many gruesome images that tourists and club members have carved into the chalk walls over the years.
This one shows the devil on the side of the caves, and we'd love to know when this was actually created, and whether it's 18th century or whether it's a later edition. But you can see his horns and his little squinty eyes. It's rather fun.
I think it can be difficult for women to understand what's going on here. I mean, sometimes it really does look as though men are members of a different species or possibly even from another planet, the way they carry on with their daft, idiotic clubs and secret rituals and so on. But I think women simply have to understand that this is something that is in the wiring. It's hardwired into their brains. They can't help it, poor souls.
The caves are open at weekends year-round and every day during the summer. Take care, though. You may not want to walk there alone. Teresa Tedman, manager of the Hellfire Caves, explains why.
It is said that there is a ghost that roams the circle here at the caves. She was a chambermaid at the George and Dragon.
The chambermaid was called Suki, and she was waiting at the caves following instructions in a letter. That very night, she was to elope with her aristocratic lover. Unfortunately for Suki, she was about to fall prey to a cruel practical joke. Her letter was a fake.
She'd been sent a letter by the local boys, and instead of him being here, the local boys were here.
With her lover nowhere to be seen, Suki vented her fury on the young men, and the results were to prove tragic.
She was so cross that she threw a stone at the boys. They retaliated and threw one back, and unfortunately it hit her on the head, and she died.
Visible in her wedding dress, the ghost of Suki is said to haunt West Wickham's Hellfire Caves, scaring unsuspecting visitors out of their wits.
A lady saw an apparition of a ghost here at the circle, and she came and asked me if there was a wedding going on in the caves, and I said no. And I said she must have seen the ghost of Suki.
If you don't catch sight of the Hellfire ghost, you may get a fright from the Hellfire mannequins. Hiding around every spooky corner, they help to tell the more salacious stories of the cave's checkered history. Members of the Hellfire Club were the rich and powerful of the time and included the Earl of Sandwich, famous for inventing the bread-based food, and even American Benjamin Franklin's name has been linked to the club.
Benjamin Franklin came to West Wickham to write a prayer book with Sir Francis. He once said that West Wickham was as interesting underground as it was above the ground.
While his city cousins excluded women from their gentlemen's clubs, female prostitutes were a necessity for the wild parties Sir Francis encouraged.
People say, well, what ladies came down here? And we're never quite sure. This is another of the mysteries. The supposition is that they were sort of courtesans or prostitutes of some form or other.
Costumes featured heavily in the club's rituals. A hangover from Dashwood's foreign trips, he is often pictured wearing robes and a turban.
He clearly loved dressing up, and he would have dressed up in all the costumes he brought from his travels from all around Europe and on his grand tour. So my images of him are having great fun more than anything. Having fun, having jokes, having parties. We had one old lady who'd never had any sexual encounters in her life at all, and after visiting the caves, she said it turned her into a raving nymphomaniac. All I can say, it was the best publicity we've ever had, and we had thousands of old ladies coming down trying to rejuvenate their sex lives.
Just a few minutes walk from the caves, be sure to visit Sir Dashwood's family home. Open throughout the summer, the surrounding area is stunning.
It is quintessentially English. It's got very much a feel of a National Trust village with all the flint and the 18th century houses and the architecture, and it does make it a truly fantastic place to visit.
Infighting brought an end to Sir Dashwood's Hellfire Club in the 1770s, and while Hellfire clubs still exist today, if you want tales of drunken debauchery and devil worship, then the Hellfire Caves in Great Britain are the place to be. Ahead on our revealing tour of the world's hottest gentlemen's clubs, we travel to London, England to uncover the secrets of the world's most traditional clubs.
Certainly in a club you'd wear a white tie and tails.
And move up a gear by showing you how to become a fully fledged racing driver. London, England, home of the world's oldest and most traditional gentlemen's clubs. We take you behind closed doors to reveal the secrets of the clubs, which have been a haven for the British upper classes for centuries.
London's gentlemen's clubs are the benchmark for clubs worldwide. We invented the whole system.
Obviously, not all men can become members, and this is a feature of male bonding associations across the world.
The London club scene established itself in the late 1600s, when groups of men would gather together to talk about shared interests of politics or profession. Coffee houses were the first meeting places, but when clubs started to charge membership fees, they were able to secure their own premises. Today, they remain a useful stopping-off point for the affluent and the eccentric with time on their hands.
The need that men have to form these kind of clubs and associations is as strong as the need to have sex with women. It really is that important.
I think it's quite natural that men do seek out each other's company some of the time, and I think that the women, some of them, would be quite thankful to go and get these frightful old balls out of their hair anyway.
Most of the London clubs do not allow entry to non-members, but whether you're shopping in the famous food hall at Fortnum & Mason's or trying to catch a glimpse of the British royal family, there's plenty in the area to keep you busy. For $8, Original London Walking Tours offers a 2-hour trip around the St. James's area of Westminster, the home of London's finest gentlemen's clubs. Just a few minutes walk from the bustle of Piccadilly Circus, you will gain an unrivaled insight into what rich men get up to when left to their own devices. Today, a group of American tourists is being shown the sights by tour guide Richard Rock.
This walk is called the Westminster Nobody Knows, and we look at some of the things that you might not discover on your own.
Rather than just reading a travel book where you just get the basics, this kind of gets you behind the scene.
Home of Prince Charles, the area of St. James's is one of the most expensive pieces of real estate anywhere in London. Jam-packed with all the great gentlemen's clubs, we begin with White's, the world's oldest gentlemen's club. It holds some surprising secrets.
The Earl of Sandwich gambled for 48 hours non-stop. He needed some sustenance while doing it, and while doing so, ordered a piece of beef between 2 slices of toasted bread. That's why we call a sandwich today, because it was the Earl of Sandwich who ordered it and didn't want to stop gambling.
There is still a lot of gambling at White's. I have seen 2 people betting on 2 flies, which one would go further up the window than the other in the next 2 minutes on a stopwatch. You know, I mean, stupid stuff.
Wages at White's were heavy and morbid. Members would bet on who would die first, who would go bankrupt, or who would be hanged. In the 18th century, a man dropped down outside the club and was carried inside, while members laid bets on whether or not he was actually dead. Many risked their lives in duels or committed suicide after losing money in card games. There are still some amusing bets, but the majority fall on the outcome of the most English of sporting pastimes, cricket. Back on the walking tour of London's finest gentlemen's clubs, our guide is about to remind his group of the most important date in American history.
If we look on the large flower containers outside, we can see a date here, 1776. Now, something happened then. It was from here, Brooks's, that the Declaration of American Independence was made in this country because the Whig Party supported American independence.
I've worked in London for 15 years and I haven't never discovered any of the places I've been to today. I think you just walk around with your eyes shut, basically.
Today, women are barred from the majority of established venues. But in 1979, one woman broke the mold. Margaret Thatcher made history twice. Initially when she became Britain's first female prime minister, resulting in the first honorary male membership of the testosterone-fueled Carlton Club. Another formidable British woman with ties to the Conservative Party is Barbara Gorna. Her experience of the Carlton Club was distinctly less positive and was so enraged by the club's restrictive policy on women that she threatened to call off her marriage to club member Robert Walter.
I actually said to him, look, there is no way I'm going to marry you if you are still a member of the Carlton Club, which is why he tried to change the rules, because he was a member of the political committee for 18 years. And I said, you know, basically, it's me or them.
Barbara mounted her campaign for change after she was refused service at the Carlton Club bar because of her sex.
They view women very much as second-class citizens, that they're okay to be there for decorative purposes, but clubs like the Carlton still don't give women the vote.
Robert Walter was unsuccessful in his attempts to get the Carlton Club to change their rules, but did enough to win over Barbara Gorna. Barbara is continuing her struggle, and her case is now with the House of Lords. Back on our tour of London's finest gentlemen's clubs, we take you to Boodle's, where the Tuxedo made its first ever outing.
Boodle's on the other side of the road, another gentleman's club, the dressed dining room. You have to be wearing formal evening wear, the tuxedo and the night dress. And it was Beau Brummel who came up with the black tie that we wear today.
Beau Brummel was London's original gent, and his invention of this quintessential piece of evening wear soon became a big hit across the globe, so that today, who can imagine any formal social event without the traditional black dinner suit or tuxedo?
People looked to him for the clothes that they were to wear. He would spend 4 hours dressing and then would order a sedan chair to be carried to his club. And the reason he had to have a sedan chair was because his boots or his shoes had been cleaned in the froth of champagne. And when you've gone to all the bother of that, you don't want to get them muddy as you walk through the streets of London with all the horses and carriages.
One of the highlights on the tour is Jermyn Street. Famous for centuries, it's the place to shop for anyone who wants to pass themselves off as an English country gentleman.
Just a little bit further down here is Harvey and Hudson. Harvey and Hudson is where Princes William and Harry get their handmade shirts from.
So that concludes our tour of London's finest gentlemen's clubs. If you haven't got the contacts to secure entry to one of the many gentlemen's clubs around St. James's, then don't despair, because you can still soak up the atmosphere and join the English upper classes in high tea, served here at one of the many stylish hotels in the area. Coming up on Gentlemen's Clubs Revealed, we get a rare glimpse into the largest and most secretive gentlemen's clubs on the planet.
There are probably more Freemasons in America than any other country in the world.
And discover how you're treated on a visit to the gentlemen's clubs of Istanbul. If you like cars, then this is the Gentlemen's Club for you. 63 miles out of London, England, we're at the Silverstone Racecourse, where we have gained exclusive access to the British Racing Drivers Club. So buckle up. You're in for a high-octane ride around one of the most glamorous motoring clubs on the planet.
If you want to learn how to drive a car quickly, this is the place to be.
It genuinely is a unique kind of kick, a unique kind of adrenaline buzz.
Silverstone is one of the foremost motor racing facilities in the world. Home to the British Racing Drivers Club since 1952, it's where you'll find superbikes, rally cars, and in the summer, the worldwide phenomenon that is Formula One. The actual club dates back to the 1920s. BRDC founder Dr. J.D. Benjafield was one of the famous motoring Bentley boys. The brat pack of the French racing circuit Le Mans, Benjafield was famous for organizing post-race dinner parties for the drivers and their friends. It was these dinners which formed the basis for the modern British Racing Drivers Club.
The BRDC is the most exclusive racing driver club in the world. You can't buy into it. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to gain enough racing success to be invited to join. It's basically a who's who of motor racing.
They range from an age of 17 to 96 at the moment. We have roughly 500 are full or life members, people who've made a significant contribution to motorsport.
Women members make up less than 1% of the overall membership, but Roger is quick to rebuff any suggestion of discrimination.
Women members are certainly not overlooked. We have some very prestigious ladies who have been members for many years, going back to racing in the 50s and 60s. But even today, we have a program which is designed to bring on young ladies who want to be racing drivers.
While you can't go inside the clubhouse, if you have an interest in motorsport, you'll find plenty to keep you occupied.
On a visit to Silverstone, there's a myriad of different driving activities that people can get up to, and they're aimed at the broad mix of people, from young to the old, male, female, doesn't make any difference.
You can turn up and do half-day courses. You know, you can do a 1 hour's tuition in a race car alongside us, drive single-seaters, rally cars, karts. You know, you can do basically anything you wish to do.
Susie and Joel are childhood friends from Canada. Keen to sample the motorsporting delights Silverstone has to offer, they have agreed to help us tackle that age-old argument. Who make better drivers, men or women?
This is pretty important to my masculinity, actually. If Susie takes this one on me, I'm gonna be choked. I'm gonna be really choked.
I think his weakness will be that he'll try and show off and try and be incredibly macho, and that will probably end up shooting him in the foot.
On hand to referee this gender grudge match is Formula 3 driver turned instructor Ken Bowers.
In order to win today, they're going to have to tread the path on the timed activity of pushing hard enough to set a good time without pushing so hard and perhaps making a mistake.
First up is the motoring proficiency test. The slightest mistake here could cost them dearly.
Up into third gear. Good, on the power. Good, coming up to 100 miles an hour now, that's excellent.
This is Susie and Joel's first time on a racetrack, but with their pride at stake, there should be no taking it easy.
Yes, on the gas, keep going, keep going.
Next up, they're racing against the clock, swapping cars from the Lotus to a catering.
I think we all know that women are better drivers, so I'm hoping I won't let any women down.
3, 2, 1, go!
Test number 2, and Susie doesn't seem to have grasped the need for speed.
We normally take a couple of seconds off per gate you miss, and then if we're knocking the cones over, also another second.
I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do it.
What is that?
This is looking good for you at the minute.
I'd get out of the way if I were you.
Right, Joe, you up for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Think you're going to beat that one?
I hope so.
3, 2, 1, go!
Joel's confidence sees him off to a flying start. But his overconfidence finally gets the better of him.
Yeah, he was so arrogant going into that one.
Okay, 45 seconds, about 6 seconds up at the minute. Here he comes. Okay, and stop.
What was my time coming through?
Excellent, that was a 62.22, so that was fantastic.
So in the end, Joel wins a victory for men everywhere. And in this instance anyway, proved that when it comes to women, men really do make better drivers.
No, you were driving like an innie.
I was not driving like an innie.
I thought you were.
No, it was difficult.
You could have been a little bit more aggressive.
I could have been a little more aggressive. You went over the first cone.
I stalled it.
While Susie and Joel continue to argue, on the other side of the track, people are taking part in an amazing week-long course, which will see them graduate fully qualified racing drivers. Octagon Motorsports offers this ultimate in holiday souvenirs for around $4,000.
Silverstone's a very special venue for people to come to because it's steeped in history. It's the home of the BRDC, the British Racing Drivers Club, and it's one of, if not the most famous motor racing circuits in Europe and perhaps even in the world.
That's what the instructors have to say. But what about the paying customers?
As long as you're a competent road driver, then anybody can do this.
It's just a great environment to be in and a great way to meet people.
It's a real buzz to be out there on circuit in a really quick car, in a single-seater. If you've never driven one before, it's fabulous.
Octagon runs a range of courses and activities at racetracks up and down Great Britain. So if you feel the urge for some speed, drop in, and hey, you never know, with a bit of practice, you could find yourself topping the bill at the Indianapolis 500. In the heart of London, England, we uncover the secrets of the largest and, until now, the most secretive gentlemen's club on the planet. Shrouded in mystery for hundreds of years, the Freemasons have thrown open their doors to allow our cameras unprecedented access to what many believe is the most secret of secret societies. The headquarters are in the heart of London's popular Covent Garden, and it's the United Grand Lodge of England which is widely considered the mother lodge of Freemasonry. Led by a member of the British royal family, His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, this gentleman's club membership reads like an edition of Who's Who. From comedian Peter Sellers to explorer Scott of the Antarctic. Some of the founding fathers of America were even Freemasons. Just check out the Masonic symbolism on the back of your dollar bills. On hand with some more fascinating facts is long-standing Freemason John Hamill.
Each Freemasons lodge in England has its own medal, or as we call it, jewel. And you see a representative selection here. Probably the most interesting is for the Chelsea Lodge. The most famous of their members was the comedian and actor Peter Sellers, who everybody remembers from the Pink Panther films.
One of the most famous ceremonial aprons on show is that of British Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill.
I don't really know much about Freemasonry. I know that a few American ex-presidents were Freemasons.
It's quite a secretive and sort of mysterious thing to me, so I'm hoping to learn a bit more about it.
I know very little, frankly. I know they have a secret handshake.
The building has been closed to the public for 50 years, but in a dramatic about turn, you can now look around as part of a free guided tour.
Quite anxious to see what they have in store for us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Freemasons Hall, home of the United Grand Lodge of England. This is a classical Art Deco building. It is the third building on the site. The first was built here in 1776.
Freemasons raise huge amounts of money for charity, but their hitherto secretive nature has meant they've been accused of all manner of things over the years, from concealing Jack the Ripper's identity to securing the unsafe convictions of their detractors.
We have been accused by certain people of indulging in satanic rituals. In fact, quite the opposite. We have to believe in a supreme being to be a Freemason, and we encourage our members to be active in their own religions. But in no way do we get involved in any sort of religion or Satanism within our meetings.
Secrecy forms a big part of this club's rulebook, with members forbidden from sharing information about the rituals with even their closest friends and families.
You could actually be expelled if you start trying to use your Freemasonry for personal gain and trying to use these signs and so on outside the Masonic context.
Nothing is known for sure about the Freemasons' rituals, but if you're prepared to do some research, then the librarians here at Freemasons Hall may let you look through some books, which should go some way to explaining what goes on when non-members are asked to leave the room.
What is it all about handshakes? I've read somewhere that...
These are purely means of recognition, that's all, from one Freemason to another.
Those handshakes and signs and so on are parts of the secrets which you're given as you go through your various degrees and are only used within a Masonic context.
The origins of Freemasonry are somewhat sketchy. There are those who believe that there is a connection with the stonemasons, while others point to the construction of the pyramids in Egypt as evidence of an early allegiance to this mysterious craft.
Nobody knows how Freemasonry developed. It's exercised the minds of historians for generations.
The most popular view is that we came out of the operative stonemasons who built the great cathedrals and castles of the Middle Ages. And certainly from them we got our basic unit of a lodge, the master and wardens of the lodge, and of course our regalia, the most important piece of which is the apron which we wear, which according to its decoration is a badge of your rank within the organization.
Featured on the tour is the largest museum of Freemasonry anywhere in the world.
This is one of the oldest exhibits in the museum and is fragments of stone from King Solomon's temple and some flooring from Cleopatra's palace in ancient Egypt. The Solomon's Temple is the story around which Masonic ceremonial is built. As we're trying to build a better world, so we took the building of Solomon's Temple, the only building described in detail in the Bible, as the basis of our ceremonies.
Up until 1986, If you betrayed your fellow club members, you'd broken some pretty severe oaths.
Your throat will be cut across and your tongue torn out and buried in the sand at the low water mark.
We're told that the physical penalties were only symbolic, but surely strong enough to send a chill down the spine of any new recruit. It's now time to enter the Grand Temple. At the heart of the Freemasons building, it is truly a wonder to behold.
Now, I said each door weighs 1¼ tons, but such is the balance 70 years after they were hung that all you need apply to open the door is a finger pressure. Would you like to do it for me, young lady? Just placing your finger here and pushing. Let us go in. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Now, seating. Would anyone like to guess how many we can seat in here at one time? Yes, ma'am.
2,000.
2,000. Any bids upper or lower?
700.
Pardon, sir?
700.
700. 900. 900. Any advance upper or lower on 900? Are we all done? Any further bids? Precise figure, 1,720.
So at the end of their tour, what did our group have to say about this amazing gentleman's club?
It does seem very interesting. Whether I'd join it or not is, I don't know.
The fact that they embrace any religion that sort of believes in a higher gods, I found it very interesting and quite rare with societies and so on today.
I had no idea who they were, what they were, never heard of them before, so it was a nice kind of introduction.
I was a bit disappointed I didn't hear more about, what the rituals actually consist of and a little bit more of the things that were still, secret.
There are more Freemasons in America than anywhere else in the world. So if the combination of fundraising and secret rituals appeals, then why not look up your local lodge and you too could become part of this worldwide gentlemen's club. Coming up, we take you for a good old-fashioned bath. Or to be precise, a Turkish bath, to reveal what men get up to in the gentlemen's clubs of Istanbul.
I can show you what it is like, but you definitely have to try it.
And in Paris, France, we reveal the pain.
Ow.
And the pleasure.
Oh, great sensation.
That goes on inside one of Europe's most exclusive all-male spas. We're in Paris, France. The birthplace of chic, it's here where you'll find one of the world's more modern gentlemen's clubs. Until now, the sole domain of womankind, we take you inside the all-male beauty salon to reveal the lengths men will go to look good.
And I think it's nice if a guy takes pride in how he looks.
I would recommend going to a spa for a man, if for no other reason than to understand the pain.
I don't think I would like to be plucked or waxed.
Ripping the hair out by the root is not a good idea.
Well, hey, why not? If women can have that option, why not guys too?
Nichols has pioneered the all-male beauty experience. Situated in the hip area of Marais, it's the exclusive hangout of Paris's most style-conscious men.
All kind of men should come to Nickel, but the reality is mostly young people, kind of trendy, and people who've got no prejudices concerning beauty and the way they look.
Every treatment has been specifically designed to meet the needs of their all-male clientele, from facials for rough skin to a procedure that aims to eradicate a man's love handles.
I think men need to look their best, to some extent for the same reasons that women do, in order to attract a mate, possibly also to show off to other males. Particularly among primates, if you look at chimps and apes and so on, the best groomed male is the alpha male. So to some extent, a man who goes out, who's well turned out, has a nice haircut, smooth skin, etc., is saying, I am important.
Someone who needs convincing that this is the type of gentleman's club he wants to join is American Gabriel Regis. Your archetypal macho man, Gabriel is a beauty parlor virgin and proud of it.
I've never been to a men's spa before, or a spa before, because I think they're generally for women. It doesn't seem too man-like to go to one of these spas. I'm prepared for discomfort. I'm not prepared for pain.
I think Gabriel will feel better, will look better, and also will look different. He's going to discover his own body in a different way. An effect of a facial lasts for 2 or 3 weeks. So for 2 or 3 weeks, every morning you wake up and say, oh my God, there's something different, and I look great today.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
We have persuaded Gabriel to test some of the beauty treatments Nichols has to offer. Will he be converted to a regime of daily moisturizing, or will he run screaming when he discovers the pain that goes hand in hand with a chest wax?
Everything's okay?
Everything, I'm a little bit nervous.
No, don't worry, just relax yourself. Everything's going to be okay.
First up, Gabriel gets his eyebrows reshaped.
Nothing too extravagant, please. I mean, I hope to have some eyebrows by the time this is over.
So I'm putting the wax.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Have to put it up.
Oh. A bit more painful than I thought it was gonna be.
I guess I like to see my spa like a club. I like that people come together, they gather, that men come, say, well, I'm at Nickel, can you join me? And that's very easy.
And if the pain of the eyebrow wax wasn't bad enough, then nothing is going to prepare Gabriel for what's coming next.
Sometimes some patient, there's some little blood, but it's not dangerous. That is why I have to protect you. Yeah, you won't have this problem. Just relax. It's not you. Just relax yourself. Okay?
That wasn't too pleasant. This is my first time getting my chest, stomach, getting a waxing.
This is quite painful, but the results are great. So then again, what people are interested in is results. They want to see the difference, so they can suffer a little bit. That's no problem.
Ow. So, do you think it looks good?
Yeah, I prefer like this.
You prefer?
Yeah, I prefer.
After the pain of the waxing, Gabriel finally gets to relax and experiences one of Nichols' most popular treatments, the facial.
What I can tell is that you will look different, that you feel more comfortable in your own body and in your own skin, and that if you're having 1 hour facial, this is also 1 hour of pleasure.
So you breathe slowly, slowly, and everything is going to be okay. Okay?
First, Gabriel's face is treated to a relaxing steam infusion.
Oh, this feels really good.
Then a selection of creams are applied to smooth and soften his face. So at the end of the day, has it all been worth it?
Well, that's my afternoon at the spa. It's been quite painful at first, but however, I did get some pleasure from the facial. Will I ever do it again is the question. Maybe not, but never say never.
But for Gabriel, there's one more opinion to canvass. He's keen to impress his college friend, Havila.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that Gabriel agreed to go to a spa. I don't know many men who would agree to do such a thing, but I'm kind of expecting something special. I don't know.
How are you, Havila?
Good, how are you? Nice. Ready?
You ready?
Let's go. So, how was your day? How did you enjoy it?
The most dreadful thing was definitely getting the wax of the chest. I think I don't know.
But I mean, would you go again?
I think overall, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it?
It was a good experience, right?
And what was your favorite part?
Definitely the facial.
Do you know what is even more sensitive than your face? Try other intimate areas.
Is that an invitation?
In the heart of Paris, we've revealed the ultimate club for male pampering. But if you're still hungry for more tips on how to make the best of yourself, then you can hit New York City, where Nichols has just opened its first U.S. branch. Istanbul, Turkey, overflowing with Eastern promise. It's here where we uncover the secrets of a historic collection of gentlemen's clubs. Many Turkish baths, known locally as hammams, are now open to tourists and are the perfect stopping off point for those in need of a bit of pampering after a busy day sightseeing around the city's bustling bazaars. The Kemberly Taş Hammam is Turkey's premier bathhouse and is one of the greatest surviving examples of Ottoman architecture anywhere in the world.
This hammam was built by Sinan the architect in 1584. It's considered to be one of the foremost architects, not only in the Islamic world, but in history.
While medieval Europe had yet to discover plumbing, let alone soap, bathhouses like this one were flourishing in the Muslim world.
Turks have a saying, imanlık temizlikten gelir, and it basically means cleanliness is next to godliness. Throughout the centuries, at a time when Europeans frowned on bathing, Turks have always considered cleanliness to be absolutely essential and almost part of their faith, a way to get closer to God.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm interested in a Turkish bath.
Yeah.
You do that here?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Florida-born Bernardo Rodriguez has lived in Istanbul for 3 years, but until today, he had never been to a hammam.
This is a men-only Turkish bath, and I'm not really used to, in my hometown, I'm not used to male-female separation, so it's a little bit strange for me. But at the same time, that's the tradition.
When you first arrive at the hammam, you arrive in a large open space known as the cam mekan and are assigned a little room where you disrobe. You wrap a cloth around your waist known as a peştemal, made of cotton, and it's usually checked.
Basically, you're going into a room wearing a towel, and a big, sweaty guy is rubbing you down. So it's not the usual thing I do on a Saturday morning.
It's like sitting on like a hot car hood, you know what I mean? In the summer, it's that hot, but it's nice.
The göbek taşı is a big marble slab located right in the middle of the room. It's heated from below, and you sort of slowly cook yourself on both sides to make it easier for your skin to be sloughed off later by the scrubber called a kesici.
I feel a little vulnerable right now. He has me at his mercy.
Just as Bernardo has acclimatized to the 122-degree heat of the göbek taş, he's brought down to earth with a splash of cold water. And this is just the beginning. Next up, a sandpaper-like scrubbing mitt designed to remove every inch of excess skin from Bernardo's body.
He's scraping me now. It's like I'm being sanded.
The kese, which is what is used to scrub you, was originally made of camel hair, but you'll find today that it's very often made of synthetic materials.
I don't know what it's going to do to my nipples.
The hammams are popular with Turkish men, not just as a means of relaxation away from their wives and families, but for business. Much like Western country clubs, this gentleman's club is great for making new contacts and for closing deals.
Certainly in Ottoman times, and even today, if you get a bunch of merchants together, sitting on top of a heated slab of marble, you'll find that naturally conversation returns to business, contacts are made, it's sort of an ancient form of networking.
Today, increased operational costs mean women have been allowed into the hammams.
It was one of the few opportunities they had to leave their husband and home. And supposedly it was so important that if a husband denied his wife the opportunity to go to the hammam, she could actually divorce him.
The baths are even used to match up the suitability of brides for their grooms.
Couples weren't allowed to meet. Very often marriages were arranged. And even were they to meet, the man would, the groom-to-be would only be able to see his fiancé's face. So it was really up to the mother-in-law to take her future daughter-in-law to the hammam and actually get a good look at her.
After the pain of the scrubbing mitt, for Bernardo comes the pleasure of the massage. Or does it?
There's the idea that if they haven't, bent you into the shape of a pretzel, they haven't done their job properly.
I don't like the look of this. Oh!
It involves a lot of pummeling. Arms and neck being bent. They look as though they would actually enjoy hurting you. They don't. They just want to get you clean. They're there to please you. They want their tip, so don't worry about it.
Over the years, the Kemerli Taş Hammam has proved as popular with Hollywood movie makers as it has with tourists.
Jackie Chan was here for a movie, and this light a present from him for the hammam. And he was here, I think, for 3 days.
So with his first visit to the Kemerli Taş Hammam nearing its end, will Bernardo be returning?
It looks strange, but it's just really relaxing, and I feel absolutely, clean. I can eat off myself. It's wonderful, really. I can show you what it is like, but you definitely have to try it. At least least once.
There are thousands of hammams in Muslim countries around the world, but man or woman, if you're in Istanbul, be sure to stop off at the beautiful Cambridge Hammam, where the bath and massage will cost you a mere $16. Our cameras have taken you inside some of the world's best gentlemen's clubs.
I am truthfully frightened.
From the glamorous,
it's basically a who's who of motoration,
to the intriguing.
We have been accused by certain people of indulging in satanic rituals.
We've uncovered the truth about what men really like to get up to when left to their own devices.